move might make your head blow off.
Hey, yo, it's a talk show host, Kana Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, Alpha Male G-O-D, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good? Welcome to another exciting episode of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter.
It's your boy, 51 Spade, Alpha Male G-O-D, the ninja you love to hate.
We got some exciting topics for you tonight. The first one is, if you saw your friend's partner cheating, would you tell? And the second one is, learning how to live with a man, learning how to live without a man versus how to keep one. Let's dig in. I want to go for the first topic tonight of, if you saw your partner's or your friend's partner cheating, would you tell? That's a direct question for you. Like, if you saw one of your homeboys' girls out with another dude, would you tell your homeboy?
See, this is one of those topics that's kind of situational. I don't really think it's like a yes or no, because you would have to approach it based on like that
circumstance.
Just the individuals, because there are certain people who like to kill the messenger. Like they might know their girl is a hoe. Might.
That's true.
Just might. But they don't want to hear that shit. You know, it's kind of like when you go to school and you got this pimple on your face. People like, hey, you know, you got that pimple on your face. Like, I ain't wake up in the morning and I ain't look in the mirror. It's like the same thing. Like, they actually might know. But I will say this, like, I generally do have guy code. And then if I base it just on that, I'm always live by guy code, because I notice that women a lot of times, like, no matter what, you could be out and about and it might just be a friend and they'll just tell, or it might be a cousin and they'll just tell just because. And when you get the message, it's like, oh, yo, Shaniqua told me you was out with a girl. Who, my cousin? You know, so.
Oh, yeah, they gonna say it just like that.
Yeah, it's just, it's just like they don't.
Up the wrong tree.
Yeah, they don't have all the facts. So it's just like, I feel like, you know, women will stick by some code, whether it's right or wrong. They don't do any investigation. So, I mean, you could be wrong too, but just on guy code, you know, if it looks suspicious.
So, based on guy code, the answer is yes. You're gonna say something to your homeboy that you saw his lady out with another dude.
Depending on, like I said, situational. That might not be 100% for every person. You know, because I don't have that many guys that, like, I'm, you know, cool with and cool.
Well, that's
like
why
that.
I kind of took away associates or your Facebook friend. I kind of wanted to narrow down to people who really mean something to you, because the reason why I'm posing it to those specific people, because let's say you decided not to say something, and it came around, well, damn, Spade was there. And you never said anything. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn, you knew, or yeah, and even if you say, yeah, but I didn't know what it was, I think your friend still would challenge you, like, damn, you still should have came to me to check it out. You understand what I'm saying?
And that's why I said it's situational, because you have some that just flip out over anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say it wasn't nothing, and I decided to tell you something. Now, this is a little extreme, but let's just say, for instance, he go and set a car on fire. Like, I don't really have all those.
You don't want to be responsible.
Yeah, I don't really have all those facts, so I don't want you to set a car on fire and you in jail, and then come to find out it was a cousin, or it was, you know, it wasn't really anything.
Well, I think people will say something. I don't expect to tell my girlfriend, hey, I saw your man at the flea market. He was with another bitch. I don't expect her to not investigate. I don't expect her. I don't expect her to go right to the house and cut up all his clothes. I expect her to call him and say, "Hey."
You expecting that, but you'll be surprised. That's why I said it's situational, because you'll be surprised at how many times I done got to the crib and got accused of some shit, and I'm like, what? And you know, and they got a lot of bass in their voice when they, you know, when they wrong. They got a lot of bass in their voice when they wrong, and then you gotta calm them down and this and that. But then my initial thing be like, who told you that? Because it came from somewhere. So now I want to know who told you that.
Right.
And then that make me look at your friend a little different. And I don't want that bitch over here no more. You know what I'm saying?
Now, because you go with that. Now, hold on now. I'm going to challenge you on this. And the reason why I'm going to challenge you is because the person that you're with is the person that you love. That's number one. Number two, you always, if you love somebody, question their friends and the level of loyalty their friends have, not only to you, but to the situation. Like, is your friend, like, if you call me your friend, not only do you need to be loyal to me, you need to be loyal to my household, what I got going on in my house.
But that ain't always.
You understand what I'm saying?
I got you. So, that ain't always what's going on.
Okay, well, let me finish. So, like, if you knew that your girlfriend had a friend that was shady or not loyal, you would not want that person in your female space. So I feel like the fact that she did see you somewhere and was like, look, what if she just approached it? I'm not saying he doing anything wrong, but I'm just saying I saw him at the flea market today. You can't get mad at her friend and not want her friend over at the house. Her friend is looking out for your lady who you're supposed to love, so you're supposed to respect the friend for looking out, depending on how she delivered the message. I will say that. Because a lot of friends are shit starters and they're going to be some wild shit.
So let me ask you this. Let's say, for instance, the friend bypassed you and decided to ask me.
What was up?
Yeah.
Depending on...
Nah, it's depending.
No. Depending on who the friend is. Like, I got some friends that, I mean, we've been friends since 3rd grade. So if she saw you out somewhere or saw my man out somewhere, she might know the nature of our relationship. She might know details of our relationship to make her not overreact. So she might bypass me and go to you like, you know what? Is that somebody you and your girl kicking it with? Or what? Because I seen you at the flea market the other day. She gonna come at you like that based on her camaraderie with you as my boyfriend. And see, you understand what I'm saying?
I do. But see, this is the thing. I don't really have that type of camaraderie with my girl's friends. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I prefer, like, if that's your friend, I could speak to him. Hey, what's up? Cool. This is.
But there might be a level of camaraderie and loyal to the relationship. That's what I'm trying to tell you. My friends don't have to directly speak to my guy. They hear enough about my guy through me. They know how happy I am. So we share jokes and go back and forth about the relationship or about the guy that they hardly ever talk to. But there's inside jokes and intricacies that a friend would know. So they have camaraderie where your relationship is concerned. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. So I'm gonna show you the difference between certain things. Okay, that might be how you and your friends rock, and maybe that's female stuff. So now I'm gonna tell you something about me and my homeboys. So when you are a guy, it's a guy, and you have a clique. Okay. Now in that clique, once the lady meet your friends, they always single one out is that's the one that you hunt pussy with. That is the one that, you know, they assume won't stop you if some shit go down.
Right.
And guess what guy I am when it go down?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the guy that, like, well, I know Spade know. And I be like, well, what did I do to you? Like, I ain't never brought him no pussy. I ain't never did anything, this and that. But they just look at me in a way because they look at me and say, well, if he get a lot of women and this and that, then if he getting a woman and as a friend with her, then he must also push you right along with it. Yeah. And that's actually not true, because a lot of times I'm actually the guy that's like, don't do it, dog. Like, you don't really want that doghouse feeling when it's going down. Like, they have me totally wrong. Right. So if they see me out and about, I just feel like they think
they're gonna rush to
they're gonna rush to the conclusion to think that I'm doing something that actually not. Like, actually, y'all really owe me an apology. I done tried to stop a lot of you men, you know what I'm saying, from getting in situations. They just don't listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. Like for real. And if I saw them out, I would probably peep it.
Okay.
The scenario. Now, if it's, and that's why I said situational, because there's certain things that people do when they out and about, and they might be somewhere they don't really supposed to be there, and then you just happen to run into them. So if I walk up on them and it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know you've been busted. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't talk like that.
Yeah. You already know something wrong.
So, and if I'm in a spot and you ain't supposed to be in that spot too, and I see you in there, then of course I got to tell my homeboy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, like I don't have any problems with anybody having colds, but it's guys I know that a lot of times females will overreact to shit, but I'm gonna say just based on cold, I'ma always tell my homeboy. Now I don't overreact to shit.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be my big Achilles heel with saying I would or I wouldn't. I think that one, I agree with it being circumstantial. I'm gonna say that I always will, because I would want my home.
No matter what.
Let me say this. I think I always will, but I would
what if she ugly?
approach. What do you mean? What if she's ugly? It don't matter.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
So you think a fat girl and an ugly girl and a fine girl can attract all the same shit?
I think they all got a vagina. Am I right? Right. So I'm gonna say that I always will, but the way I'm going to approach it is gonna be circumstantial.
Okay.
Because you could do your due diligence and ask the right questions of your friend to find out what category you need to really go in. Hey girl, what did you do today? Oh girl, I went to the flea market. My feet was hurting by the time I got there and I sat in the car. Well, there goes an explanation for me. I don't need to. I'm okay to say, oh yeah, I saw so and so in the flea market. You know, I don't even have to mention the other bitch.
So you snooping without snooping.
I'm snooping without snooping. You know what I'm saying? Because she was at the flea market at the same time I was at the flea market. She already told me she didn't go in, so there's not a big chance that he met the bitch at the flea market and they walking around together. She came to the flea market with them, so I know they were together. So I don't need to ask that. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't ever just mind your business, because
it's not about minding my business when I say, would you tell your friend? Listen. I can't. I have friends that I can count probably on one hand. I might have 6 good friends, so I might have to use 2 hands. But what I'm trying to say is, I have a small number of friends, and if I know them to be with a man, and I see that man out with another young lady, I'm gonna do my due diligence. It might not include running right to her and telling on him. I'm saying that I have to ask the right questions to make sure I feel good about saying or not saying.
But I'm still saying, do you ever just mind your business?
Of course.
But it's not.
I just gave you an example of me minding my business. It's normal for me to ask my friend.
You was snooping. You was throwing fish lines.
But that's normal for me to ask my girl what she did today. That's not like I was like, hey girl, I need to know exactly what you did today. Don't need nothing out. I said, hello, girl, what did you do today? Oh girl, I went to the flea market. Well, just being a friend.
But you're asking that question based on because you feel that your spidey senses are on, but they off.
Okay, that's okay though. I feel like that's okay. I feel like the next step, I feel like saying something without asking those questions is wrong. I don't feel like putting your feelers out there and finding out little information you need to direct you I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because it may lead me to not say anything at all.
So you swinging the bat 100% of the time?
100% of the time, I'm going to ask a question or two.
Yeah, so that's what we
to
disagree.
See what I need to be asking and how I need to ask.
Yeah, I'm not swinging that bat 100% of the time.
That's crazy.
I'm not.
That's crazy.
I'm not, because I'm gonna be honest with you.
Given who your friends are, I would think that's nuts. You only have like me. You have a small amount of friends that you said you have guy code.
Some people don't want to listen. I don't give a fuck if your friends are big or minuscule. Some people don't receive bad news well, and they kill and shoot the messenger every time. And trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Like, just because you might be right and you might have those facts lined up, it's almost like saying, like, I caught your girl cheating, and now you're expecting what? So if he gonna be with the bitch, he gonna be with her. So everything that I'm doing is minuscule, but they often look at you a different way because they feel like, one, you might be trying to break them up. Then it turned into you want her, what you was deserving her so much for. Like, it turns into other shit that you trying to be the friend that you think you
But
need
let me
to
tell
be.
you what else it could turn into. What if
Well, guys, it turned into some other shit.
it could? But what if you did see her doing something wrong and she decides to go home and say, "This is what happened," and then let a week pass and your friend knows that you saw them, and she could also use that against you. Like, damn, your friend Spade ain't shit, cause I know I came clean, but he was there at the party. He saw us together and he didn't say nothing to you. Like, I came home to tell you because he was there. I told on myself based on the fact that your friend was there. So I'm trying to figure out how you call him friend and he ain't even checked in and asked you what was up with me. Because there are women who will get ahead of shit. Like, okay, I'm at the flea market with this nigga I ain't supposed to be with. There go his homeboy over there. I'm finna go home and just let my nigga know what happened. I'm gonna jump ahead of it. But what my man might do is just lay back and see, well, I'm gonna see if my homeboy say something to me about it. Because you ain't gonna call your homeboy and just explain, hey, I know you seen my girl today, but ain't no real G gonna do that. A real G gonna sit back and say, I'm gonna see if my homeboy, you know what I'm saying, if he say anything to me. And if you don't, it might come back on you.
How the fuck would you know what a real G with your L7 ass
Whatever. I'm not an L7 though.
Yes, you is.
I'm so G.
No, you are so
No,
not.
I am so G.
You four
Like,
corners.
I am not.
Yeah. And
That is such a lie though.
No, that's such a not. The thing is, when you know your friends, so I'm gonna just say this. When you know your friends, you know how they react to certain things. So if this is a situation that I choose not to do, we've already dealt with this situation before. I'm not talking about I'm running into some shit that's blind that I've never dealt with before. So even if he approached me on the shit, I'm gonna bring up other shit that I done tried to do before. Like, hey, remember that time I tried to tell you about Brenda that you fucking ignored me
He's
about?
not gonna hear that shit though.
But he ain't gonna hear that shit either way. That is like a double-edged sword. That's what I'm talking about. Like, some people receive news well, or some people use that against you. Let's just say, for instance, like, I seen this friend, and then I decided to tell him. But let's just say that I've been having, run-ins with her and stuff like that. He's not gonna see it that way at all. He gonna be like, when
because y'all are already enemies.
You don't want me. You ain't want me with the bitch anyway. You don't like niggas flip the script by some pussy. Like if I'm gonna keep it a buck, they will flip the script by some pussy. Like, your friend will turn into somebody, and I'm just talking about from a man standpoint. They will flip the script right in front of you and turn into somebody you don't even recognize. Because you would think to yourself, like, once I tell you this shit should be dead.
Yeah.
And it's not dead. Know why? Because of that shit what you just said. See, they get home like, I can't suck his dick, she can. You know what I'm saying? I can't give him no pussy, she can. Like, she can maneuver her way out of a scenario real quick. Like, me just saying something, that's just me talking.
Right.
Keeping them, you know what I'm saying? Keeping it real. But when she get home, she gonna pull out all the tricks.
But that's not so what? You still did what you were supposed to do as that person's friend.
And like I said,
what tricks she pull out of the book?
Some of it is situational.
Between me, I don't tell my girlfriends anything with the intent of them going home and packing a fucking bag. Ever do I give advice that's final?
Neither do I. Neither do I. But the difference is, you a female and I'm a man. Females can catfight and do all this shit and unblock motherfuckers, and I don't want to talk to you no more, and don't say shit to me. We end up in gunfights and fights and all kind of shit behind some shit, and I'm not fighting behind some pussy that ain't mine. You know what I'm saying? So, like, really, if it's a situation, and that's why I said situational, because there are some homeboys I feel like I can talk to him and he can be like, oh, okay, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Good looking out. But all of them ain't like that. It depends on who got their hooks into them deep enough, and then your scenario might flip. So it's like, damn if I do, damn if I don't.
I feel like every single one of my man's homeboys will fucking tell on me. Period. There's not a question in my mind. If they saw me past 10:01 somewhere at night by myself or with another dude, they're gonna say something. Period.
That's cool. I ain't got no issue with that. Tell on a motherfucking ass. I don't got no issue with that. I can't say what'll happen, but that doesn't necessarily mean that after that happened, everything will be smooth. They might not be friends after that. You might give an excuse on what happened to this and that. Or, like I said, sometimes they feel like you might be checking for them. You know, because sometimes that is a scenario. Like with me, I don't really like to meet like my homeboys, girls like that, and be cool with them like that. They don't need to have my number. We don't need to be chit chatting like that and this and that. Like, we don't need to have that. I got code conduct and everything else. So even if I saw something, like I said, it would have to be something that I walked into and they is not supposed to be there. They know it, I know it. And then I'm gonna be like, yeah, okay, we already know. And then, yeah, I'm.
So would you ever handle it and just talk to the female like,
No.
look, hey, my homeboy ain't here. I don't know this nigga.
No.
So you got 24 hours to tell my homeboy what's up, or I'ma tell him.
That's movie shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that went down on Heat or some shit like that. Like, I'm not Robert De Niro. Like, no, that is not going down. Now, I understand shit like that. Like, because I'm not in that type of circle where you have friends that are like more like family, more than anything. So they are intertwined like that. So if I was in a situation like that and there's someone that I consider my sister or whatever this and that, and I can and something go down, yeah, but she ain't got 24 hours. She got till she get home. Like, that's it. She don't got that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because even holding off that long is a little bit, you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit crazy. It's
But
like,
you can still justify it and say, hey, I didn't tell you the same day because I wanted to give her the chance. Because y'all, the way you tell the scenario is, she knows she wrong, you know she wrong. So it's like, hey, I spoke to her, so I had an understanding that she was going to deliver the message.
Gotcha.
So I wanted to give her some space to do that.
Gotcha.
So you can get out of waiting. You can't get out of never saying anything.
well, you saw ATL? Waiting is what got Sinclair and T.I. character at odds because he said you knew. You know what I'm saying? So he gave the same scenario what you talking about. He gave her the opportune time to go tell her, but that didn't change how he felt about his homeboy holding out. He didn't give a fuck about none of that time. He felt like, you need to tell me exactly when it happened. That's why I said you only have an amp amount of time from there to there to tell me. Now it goes back to what I said. If you know your homeboy, then everything is situational. Because if you know him, then you shouldn't even be giving or siding with this chick to say you got 24 hours of this and that. For me, if I know him like that, bitch, you got until you get home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it depends on the friend, depends on the situation, depends on all those factors.
You got until you get home. Because if I hold this information, this and that, it's like I said, he got bent out of shape just on the simple fact that he like, listen, I was trying to give her time to tell you, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't trying to hear that shit. He like, man, go on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Get out. Get lost, get out. You know, like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, men take shit different ways because we look at certain things. Not every man don't look at it the same way. It might be a situation like, damn, how'd you know and hold on that long? You know what I'm saying? Or why you didn't tell me when it immediately happened. Every man is different. Some men care, some men don't.
I think this might weigh heavier on the female perspective because there aren't a lot of times in relationships that I think a woman could go to her guy and say, hey, I don't like Spade. And that guy cut Spade off. That's not going to happen. But I can tell you that a man could say, hey, Kana, I don't like Rebecca. That bitch got to go. And guess what Kana going to do? In most cases, cut Rebecca off. So when there comes a time for a woman to prove her loyalty to her friend, in most cases, this is the opportunity that she's going to do it for fear that she's on the outs anyway. All the time, whether you like the boyfriend and respect the situation or not. When a woman is in a relationship, her boyfriend really becomes her everything. And those people who are your best friends and your ride or dies, it don't mean they go away, but they're on the outside of your bubble. It's just something that we do. So I think whenever a girl on the outside of the bubble has an opportunity to pop that bubble, not to burst it or make it go away, but to say, hey, I'm still here, I'm still standing beside you, I still want to prove to be an asset not only to you but to the relationship. I don't think she's doing damage to you or the relationship if your ass wasn't doing anything wrong. I think she's showing you that, hey, I support you guys, I support the relationship, and This is my way of just supporting an individual in that relationship. She can't support the relationship if she's a liar to me and not loyal to me. Sorry. Doesn't work that way. You can't be out and see my man with several women and then be at my wedding or at my vow renewal like this. I don't want that type of friend. So yeah, while I'm with you with bitch mind your own business, stay in your place, I don't want people a part of my coven that can't come to me and say, hey, I saw something that's just a little bit off. I just think there's nothing wrong with saying something. I think the message and the delivery just has to be correct. But I don't have a problem with my homegirl saying, hey, I saw your boy at the flea market with another chick, just in a way that I think doesn't disrespect my man, because you don't know he could have been his cousin, his mother-in-law. It could have been a number of people. So when you come give me the information, you still need to give it to me like you support my relationship, and don't think that it's automatically the worst, because there could be a great explanation for it. But I don't have a problem with telling or a female telling me. I just want her to come correct.
That's cool. I ain't got no issue with that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I understand your point, but like I said, it is situational. I don't think females deal with the same type of backlash that a guy is gonna have. Like, we really take it there when shit start going wrong. And you gotta remember that the same thing that you're talking about, that you're trying to win those brownie points with your man, that over trumps a lot of theories or things that go on in a guy's head. So what can your homeboy really tell you? You know what I'm saying? Like, he can deliver a lot of news, but depending on, like Pop say, rest in peace, if he's pussy whipped, you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because there ain't really shit you can say, do, or anything. It's not that we're gonna be saying anything. I would never say that I want you to end that relationship. Mm-hmm. That's not my point of saying. It's just that, hey, I'm in the same spot, she was in the same spot, and just in case it come up,
that's perfect.
That's just what it is. But a lot of times, sometimes it just, some things don't really look like anything, and I feel like I can pick up on that real quick. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So if I just see a male and female out, or just her, out with a guy, and it just, they not holding hands or no shit like that. It's just like some regular conversation. She see me, she might even speak, hey, what up, babe? That's nothing right there. It's like when the bitch is maneuvering, trying to get away from me, or she, she look like a deer caught in headlights.
Yeah.
Like, that's when I know, like, okay, this is what it is. Yeah. So, you already know. So by the time you get home, you better have said something, because it's a wrap.
She might be learning how to live without Batman instead of learning how to keep him, which is the second topic of the night. Learning how to live without a man versus how to keep one. I thought this was a real interesting topic. I think a few days back I was having a conversation with people about being submissive. And I know that's a completely different topic, but I think it coincides with the second part of learning how to keep the guy. So I think it coincides, but we won't start there. I'll make a more point of that when I go. But I wanted you to kind of start us off with how you felt about the subject entirely. I think that you'll probably reference just the movement of women being strong, hear me roar, being independent, that we are probably raising our daughters to do it without a man. How do you feel about that?
See, this topic is real broad, because I often believe that in a relationship, don't use your significant other as a crutch. You got to know exactly who you are. Like, if you love yourself, then you'll have a lot to give. And if you're insecure, have insecurities and stuff like that, and you're using your man is your happy point, then you might run into some problems. Sometimes when I meet women and they got girlfriends, or some have limited girlfriends, it's advice that the women give that is what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's, I am woman, hear me roar. So like if you bring, you giving them a back massage, you bringing them they drinks, they food, like when you out in places or barbecue, family reunion,
and they're waiting on
them. It's like, what, his hands broke, his feet broke, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't got to wait on him. You don't got to wait on him and this and that. So it's like, at what point in time, because I've said this before, women have this thing where I think they dip and dabble into when they want to be, I am woman, hear me roar, and when they like, okay, I have a man. And it's all intertwined into one. And I think it can be a bit confusing. Now, you do have women that think they're made for relationships. And I think that's a big issue within inside itself. Like, even...
You just went from one extreme to the next.
I have to go to the extreme because you see these women that's like, well, I don't need no man. I can make my own money. I can raise a kid by myself. They just have this anger in them where they feel like they can do it all by themselves, and deep down they don't feel that way. Like they really want a man, and those are the ones that's trying to sabotage like your relationship, this and that. They see you so happy, girl, you'll wake up one day. Like you'll see that you'll
snap out of it.
Yeah, and that's why I went to that extreme because I'm just like really deep down. That's that friend that when you meet them and they meet a guy and they on a speed like race to the altar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, well, damn, I thought you said you ain't need no man and you met him like 6 months ago. Now y'all talking about getting married.
Yeah.
So how do you go from you don't need no man, I'm happy being single, I'm all this type of shit to speeding down the goddamn aisle?
Yeah. It's confusing. It's confusing. I can say it's confusing because I grew up in the era where it's like you don't need him. You need to have your own bank account. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I accomplished some things as an individual, but I still am one of those people who doesn't feel complete without a partner. Many celebrity interviews, out late with powerful men, around powerful men, like. I lived a great life. People can look at some of that stuff and say, well, damn, I mean, she's really doing her thing. But I still went home by myself. I went home alone for a long time. And that is, you could be super successful and not have that and feel that success over there. It looks like success to other people. It does not feel like success to me. I'll say it doesn't feel like success to me because a lot of the times, you're out there grinding as a woman because you want a family. So there isn't one without the other. Yeah, I work for this great corporate company. I'm doing all these interviews. I'm doing great. I got money in the motherfucking bank. But I only want all that so that I could marry and have kids and manage a household. I don't want it so I could keep doing it by myself.
So what do you say to the women that's saying you're fine, you don't need all that stuff? Because like you see more of that now, and I think like there's not a lot of union between the man and the woman because now we get into situations of like, who makes more money, that's who run the household. Or if this woman makes more than the man, then let's say your girlfriend say, well, he's a bum, like, you make more money than him, and they just have this down look on it. So if you're doing that, what do you say to the women that's bringing those type of things up?
You can't. That's why we're talking about it. It's weird to tell somebody who's telling you don't need a man, stack your own paper, do it for you. Those are very positive messages, especially for a little black girl. Very positive messages. I just think they need to be integrated with marriage and husband and being a homemaker. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it's very difficult for me to say things like that because there are women out there like right now like, oh, that's bullshit. I ain't never telling my daughter that because they want us to switch from being submissive and waiting on a man to running the fucking country, to being the president. You understand what I'm saying? And it's okay to empower little girls and say, hey, one day you could be the president of the United States. But it's okay to say you can be Mrs. Smith as the president of the United States. You could still be someone's wife. You could still be submissive and still be a powerful woman. I'm an example of that. I am great at both.
I still feel you could say something to them.
I just don't. I don't know how to say it. Maybe
just tell them. You don't know how to tell him? I'll tell you how. See, the thing with women that do that type of shit, like, and to make people understand exactly what I'm talking about. Let's just say, I'm gonna paint a scenario for you. Let's just say, for instance, you want to lose weight, right? You want to get in shape, look fine for the summertime body, hard body, and you decide to go to a boot camp. Mm-hmm. Those females that's talking is like, I show up to that boot camp and someone say they gonna whip me into shape and they 300 pounds. Now, I'm gonna think to myself, how in the fuck are you gonna whip me into shape and you ain't in shape? Cause this is like the topic that we talking about. Like, just because you saying you don't need a man, can you even keep a man? That's what I would be saying to them. I'm not saying you gotta be submissive. I'm not saying any of that shit. Can you even keep one if you got one?
Right. You're telling me you don't need one, but if you had one, could you keep him? Exactly. I honestly don't think they could.
Exactly.
Not the women that are like that.
Exactly.
Because they're going to want to have that relationship on their terms. I'm not cooking and cleaning. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Not all of them. Mm-hmm. But women are either one extreme or the other. They're never perfectly in the middle.
They are. It's like when I look at, like, and I can't remember because it's been a while. Like, there was this show that came on and it was with Chili from TLC. And she had this list of what she thought, like, what she wanted from a man. Mm-hmm. And it was like, hey, he got to be successful. He got to have rock hard abs. He got to have a big dick. He got to have a big bank account. He got to be religious. I'm like, that nigga might exist, but probably not. But then she's not willing. You want all this shit, but also you're not gonna change your attitude of how you are. Mm-hmm. And that's why her motherfucking ass is single. Right. And that's what I'm talking about right there. Like, you can have all the lists of shit that you want to, but can you compromise? Are you a good woman? Like, just because you are a woman don't mean you are a good one. And
I really think a lot of women place a lot of value on themselves that they actually don't even have.
Exactly. And that's what I was getting at. It's like, you can say that you don't want a man or say, well, men ain't shit or this and that. But if I look at your track record, like if I pull your hoe facts, I mean your woman facts. That's repetitive. You know what I'm saying? That just happened. Your woman facts. Like, if I pulled it, would you have high divorce rates on there? You know what I'm saying? Like your credit looking bad with men. You know what I'm saying? Relationships are like from man to man. That just would show me that you just don't know how to take care of a man. Like, and a lot of times, even when they find, like, and I often tell people this, like, you know, when you see women that look good, and I be like, you show me a fine woman and I show you a man that don't want them. That's like as true as fact it'll ever come. Because women often look at other women, but why the fuck she ain't got no man? You might want to dive into her personality and see that everything that glitter ain't goddamn gold. Yeah. And that's, you know, that's just what it is. Like, I hear a lot of women that say that, but I don't really feel like if they was in a relationship, would you take the time to listen to the man? Do you know how to please a man? Do you know how to make this relationship run? Do you know how to even argue in a right way? Mm-hmm. Because there's also a right way to communicate. Mm-hmm. And if you bitching at a man, most men just shut down, like, immediately. Like, we don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want to be there with you. Mm-hmm. So if I don't got no peace at the house that I'm about to fucking come to, and I gotta stay out, like my brother, he was like, hey, every time I go, before I get to the crib, I gotta stop by the bar. And I'm like, why? He like, because she gonna be on some other shit, like, once I get there. And now I would say, is the woman, do you even know how to resolve that? Like, once you find out he don't want to be at the crib, do you know what to do? to alleviate
change
that
that.
whole scenario.
Yeah.
Do you know what to do? It's easy to talk that shit.
Yeah.
You a woman, hear me roar.
Yeah. I think it's just a thin line, but I mean, if the shoe was on the other foot, because I know men now that not all men came from single parent homes. You know, some men come from homes where they had both parents. Their mama taught them how to cook, and their daddy taught him how to change a tire. So you get this guy who has got his shit together and who looks good, seemingly a great man, but that man is also saying that, hey, if you don't want to be here, step. I don't need you to cook. I don't clean up behind my damn self.
Motherfucking
So
right.
if the shoe was on the other foot, you know what I'm saying? Like men, little boys grow up to be men now who don't need a woman. So are they also forgetting how to keep one?
I will say this. I don't really think it's about how to keep them, because I really feel like getting a woman is probably the easy part. To maintain a relationship is going to be more of the harder part. Now, how much of your partner and you are compatible is going to be a real big thing, because I think that's how certain people get stuck in relationships that they're not really supposed to be in, like, because they don't really know how to walk away from that relationship. It's like how y'all argue. Like for me, I say like there are certain things that my spouse can do, but she can't press a button in me that's gonna turn me red, because I know what that looked like, because I've been in relationships like that. And if I'm in a relationship with someone where she is pressing buttons that making me want to put my goddamn hands and feet all on her, like that is like a relationship that I have to recognize that I gotta get out of, because it ain't even someone that's really trying to work the relationship out. It's just like we're just doing like tit for tat type shit. And that's what I'm saying, like when you in that type of relationship, I don't think certain people recognize. So I'm not gonna say that they forget. It's just that sometimes misery love company, and when you're in a toxic relationship, you stay in it. Now another thing, and the biggest thing that certain men do, is like once we have kids with certain women, we stay there for the kids. And I don't want to tell nobody not to do that. I'm just saying that it causes bad shit sometimes when you're just there for the kids and you just don't love this woman.
Right. Exactly. But again, I think there are a lot of guys, and I know we went into this scenario based on a woman's perspective, but I think to tackle the guy's perspective to me is important, because I think that's how y'all hoe hop. You understand what I'm saying? I think that's why y'all
Elaborate.
also y'all hoe hop, which means, okay, if Kara ain't acting right, I'm gonna go to Kana house, and if Kana ain't acting right, I'm gonna go to Deidre house, and if Deidre ain't acting right, I'm gonna go to Samantha house. You hoe hop. That's what hoe hopping is. You also nest, meaning there's a toothbrush at each one of them spaces, your favorite blanket. Each one of them got your ass a PS4, because they don't know when you gonna come through, and you might stay the night, so they want you to be comfortable. You understand what I'm saying? So you got little situations, which to me is a symbol that you just don't know how to keep one, or another topic, you're just greedy as fuck. But I think because you can hoe hop, you're losing practice now, because you don't know how to maintain that one household because your ass ain't there. You too busy hoe hopping.
I would say that if he's hoe hopping, he got a hoe at home. And the reason I say that is because if you have a queen at home, you ain't finna hoe hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then that goes back to what I was saying about do you know what to do with your man? Because I just addressed the point that if he don't want to be there, are you doing something to continue to drive him out that fucking house? Well, that's how he at Deidre house. And that's why he's at Sarah house and Kara house and Amy and Schuler. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why he's at them spots. You know what I'm saying? Because he want to be everywhere except there. So that would be the thing that I would say. And it's hard. For people
Yeah.
to look at they
Because you have to look at
themselves.
Right.
Now I will say this too, because I don't want to say it's one thing or the other. I'ma also say this. Sometimes when you talk about that individual that you're talking about, that's when you have to dive a little deeper and see how that person was raised. If that's all they saw and they never saw a family, like I ain't never been in no house that was a Cosby family. Never.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That shit looks straight on TV and this and that. Oh shit, Theo and Vanessa and damn, he's a fucking doctor and a mama lawyer. But I've met almost zero people that live like that. You understand what I'm saying? And when you don't see that and you see your dad that is abusive or abusing women or constantly telling his son, you know what I'm saying, don't trust these damn women out here, this and that. That's how they grow up.
Yeah.
They grow up that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, your mama, she a piece of shit, and then he'll take you with him to his other female house. So you gonna think that that's how it go. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying you gonna think that's how it go. But you might, before you dive in a relationship with that man, find out, like, is they parents still together? How much love do we have for his mama? Was his dad a Rolling Stone? A lot of them shit plays factors into the man that you getting, and I think sometimes like women just look at the man and say, okay, he got a good job, he got a car, check, and they don't check the rest of the shit out. They just do the outskirts checks. And even for men, like a lot of times we look at women and say, shit, nice titties, nice ass, give good head, pussy straight, and we just don't dive enough into like what they family like. We ain't met the sister yet. We ain't met the mama yet. And then we show up at the reunion or just the house, and you be like, oh no, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then this is what you got to deal with, and then shit start making sense to you. This is why she's like this. Mm-hmm. This is exactly why. Why I didn't know this. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, just like you do your due diligence. I mean, with women, I think we also have to tackle with both. But for me, since I'm a woman, I'll speak on the woman's behalf. Why we feel like it's important to not only be okay without a man and to raise our children or stepchildren to be okay without a man is because if you're really submissive, kind of like I am, and you take your everything you have and you put it in that one basket, and then I don't know, 6 years goes by and then the guy decides, I just don't want to. Nothing that the woman did wrong. He just changed his fucking mind. He don't want to be married. He don't want to live. He just doesn't want to be with her. Maybe he's okay with being her friend, whatever. But if he walks out of her life and she's dedicated everything that she's had for those 6 years and he just walks away, it's abandonment. And women, that goes back to, just like you said, you didn't dig into how he grew up. Well, guess what? Probably that particular woman, her father is gone, and now she was raised by a single mom, and now she's had several boyfriends she done signed a lease with this nigga. 6 months in, he gone. She on the lease by herself and got to get a roommate. Or you done co-signed for this nigga a fucking car, and now he stopped making the payments. It's things like that. You abandon. You understand what I'm saying? And that's a situation like that will cause the beast to come out of the woman, because now she got to go get a third job just to make that other car payment, because that shit in her name. She don't want to ruin her fucking credit. She's working like a fucking beast. Trust me, when she meet her new man, he gonna catch hell off of what the other nigga did. I'm not even saying that that's right, but it's a good reason for her to have learned how to live without a man. Now she probably needs some catch up on how to keep a man, because she had to be a beast just 6 months ago. She was gonna lose everything, and so she gotta build up tolerance to niggas and they bullshit. So when that wall's supposed to come down and it's still up, that's probably a good fucking reason. She has a good reason to say, well, hold on, I could do this without you, so we're gonna stay like this for now. You understand what I'm saying? When maybe it's the right guy she doesn't have to do that with. I understand why they would, and why you should raise your child or want for the person you love to know how to do it without a man. It doesn't mean forget how to keep him. It means know how to do it without them, because y'all ass change your mind for no fucking reason.
No man changes his mind.
No, they change their minds for no reason. But I mean,
no man changes.
It could be something that has nothing to do with the other person. Is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. So no man changes his mind without reason. We always have reason. Now you can say you don't know what that reason is,
or maybe the reason has nothing to do with me. Like maybe like Bruce Jenner. Hey, I don't like women anymore. I want to be a woman myself.
Exactly.
That's out of Kris Jenner's control.
Gotcha.
So thank God she had her own money.
Gotcha. But I will say this. A lot of times with women, y'all tend to be a little dramatic. But y'all have this thing in y'all that women say, I needed to be 50-50, or you're just not doing enough. And even though you think you might be communicating, sometimes I also think that y'all also ignoring things that, men say. In relationships, stuff that's big to the man becomes minuscule to the women. And vice versa. So that's why I said communication. Like if your man came home one day and was like, that pussy just ain't enough for me, the woman is gonna take that immediately to defense.
Yeah. Why shouldn't she?
Now, well, I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, one. Often women be like, when they get cheated on, or you say they hoe hopping, or some of these things that go on is because you got to that point because you ignored every goddamn thing that he was saying. So I'm not saying you can't take it to offense or anything like that, but what I'm saying is y'all also stop listening. You know what I'm saying? It's like it turns. I don't know who this motherfucker think I am. You know what I'm saying? Like talking about my pussy ain't good. Y'all just start going on and this and that, and it's like you're not even. He's trying to tell you like what it is because he might just need something a little extra. You know what I'm saying? Now, is he worth it? Is to be the thing. You know what I'm saying? Is he worth it? And if he's worth it, you would take that in. Another thing is sometimes, man, y'all need therapy, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. So just hear me out now. Just hear me out. You know what I'm saying? Cause see, anytime someone use the word therapy, people start going crazy. Like, I don't feel like you can heal yourself if you coming out a bad relationship. Like all those relationships that you said, like, well, this person just treated me like shit and this and that. Like sometimes women don't even take the time. They jump like in another relationship. True. So that's why I said therapy. Like you like sometimes you can't. Y'all self-therapy shit be like shaving y'all head and then jumping religions or jumping to, you know what I'm saying, I'm gay now. You know what I'm saying? Like I like women now. I don't even do dudes. So like that's y'all idea of therapy, you know what I'm saying, that go down. I'm like, okay, like you need to go sit down with a real therapist, you know what I'm saying? Like we're not Britney Spears, we ain't going cue ball and all this other type of shit, but that shit happened. So I often tell people, like when I see it, I'll be like, her heart broke, she finna do one or two things. She finna change religions or find God, or she finna cut all her goddamn hair off, or she's finna start talking to another woman, or they just jump into another relationship with another guy that's bad for them. Sometimes you might need to take a year break to find yourself. And you know what I'm saying? Just find yourself. And during that time, seek some help. Someone to talk to, a therapist is nice. Yeah, I've heard they work. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that.
I have to agree with you. I do. That's what pisses me off. Because I agree. But can you agree now, based on the things that we did? Because all we did was we went around and we talked about all the things that make people learn to live without, because they're kind of forced into that situation.
I get that, but
you understand what I'm saying?
But my thing is this: is human beings, and I'm just gonna say this: is human beings, we all want to belong to something. We love companionship. We love those type of things. So to say that I can get along without, I feel like you lying to yourself. Like all those things that you doing, that you working towards a goal. Well, what the fuck is the end goal? Mm-hmm. The end goal is a family. Right. Majority of the time.
Yeah.
So if you're saying that you're gonna live without a man, you can if you choosing to do that. But I just told you, But those be the same women that when they find a man speeding down the goddamn aisle to get married.
Yeah.
You understand? And then find themselves in a bad marriage, or we got married too fast because you didn't learn of how to love this man, or learn how you love yourself to become a better person for that man.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
And that's needed sometimes. I mean, I believe that everybody want to belong to something, whether it's a sorority or going, you know, saying a job sometimes, you know, completes them. And sometimes it's a man or sometimes it's a woman, but you want to belong to something. People are not just in this fucking world. We come in this world solo and we leave out. But while we on this planet, we like the camaraderie. Mm-hmm. And that's just what it is. So I'm not buying that shit about, you know what I'm saying, you don't want no man. You just don't want to learn how to love because you're either scared or you don't love yourself.
Or you're just someone who believes in what all of us have been taught in the last 20 years. That we should be strong.
Talk about who?
What do you mean? Talk by any female. I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's probably one out of, maybe two, out of all my female mentors who have poured into me. I am woman, hear me roar. You don't need him. You need to go off and do it by yourself. And and I'm talking about female mentors and family. You understand what I'm saying? So and a lot of people, don't even know how I ended up being as submissive as I am, and I would look based on who my mentors were.
And I would look at your family and ask yourself and look and say, do they have a man? And if that was the case, that's why they preaching that shit, because they ain't got no goddamn man. Like it's good if you want to preach that and your outcome is not to have a man and you want to raise somebody like that. That's cool. But if we being realistic, and me being a strong man, behind every strong man there's a woman. Martin Luther King was strong, still had a woman. Malcolm X was strong, still had a woman. Jesus Christ was strong and still had a woman. Right. You know, like at the end of the day, like men don't forget. It's just that we just don't see the queens that we need, because sometimes when you see that queen, it'll make that man complete and he'll go hard for the woman. Trust that.
I get you, because I recently had lunch with a friend of mine and she was saying how much trouble she had with dating. Not trouble, but she just put out this energy to me that, you know, when I meet a guy, it's like, I'm not dealing with this, I'm not dealing with that. And I mean, she was talking like she had all the qualifications. Check. Right. And then at the end of the list, she's like, and I have 2 roommates. I'm like, well, that's not something a man wants to really embark on. I mean, not at our age. I had roommates when I was between the ages of 18 and 22. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're in your 40s, you got great credit, you own your own house, you're buying more real estate. I mean, you got all these checks, and then I get to your house and there are 2 grown-ass men living here. I'm not even considering you to be wifey material. I'm just not. I don't give a fuck. Did you say that to her? Absolutely.
And what'd she say?
And she was like, I didn't even think of it that way.
There you go. Not learning how to do it.
And it's interesting that the second part of posing that is learning how to live with a man instead of learning how to keep one. There was a lesson just in that conversation that, hey, this might be a reason why you're not remarried yet. This might be the reason why you think you haven't found your Prince Charming. The last guy could have been Prince Charming, but he wasn't letting you see the Prince part because you got roommates. And he's thinking to himself, well, I'm not about to marry her.
And I'll double down on that, because really, when I see women and they are potential, I don't like to see what I call gray clouds. Like that, it's that character from Charlie Brown, the one that got that dust all around. Yeah, they got that dust all around. Like, men don't like to see that, and a lot of times that's what I'm saying. Like, women be in that dust and they don't realize that they in it. You know, because every time I turn around, like, hey, you know what I'm saying, you want to go out? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? My brother just called me. He done broke down. I got to send him some Western Union, this and that. Okay, we'll try next week. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? My cousin just dropped by. He had nowhere to stay, and now he's staying the night with me.
And see, but this is so good. This is so good. Because to the common ear, wow, she's dependable. Since I've known her, 2 people have called her for money and she gave it to him like that. She's got a big heart. she's so giving. To the person doing it, they are putting out this energy maybe to you that, hey, I'm my family's backbone. I help take care of them. And to them, they're saying something very positive. To you, it's a negative.
And I'm going to tell you why. and I ain't even trying to be funny. Men also want to be have a priority in your life too. And if I'm number 6, that ain't working for me. You understand what I'm saying? So like, let's just say for instance, like when you meet a woman and then y'all together, you're number 1 in her life. Let's just say for instance that you are number 1 in her life.
Right.
Well, when she has a child, you get
automatically
removed from 1 to 2. Just like that. And you accepting of that. But then her baby is her baby. Right. You understand?
And now she got a brother. So now you been down number 3.
Yeah, you understand?
Yeah.
So now if I got to deal with a brother, cousin, your mama, and this and that, and I'm getting knocked down the peg, I'm just like, okay, well, where the fuck do I fit in this whole scenario? Because I'm not trying to get scraps. And some people don't view it that way. And I get it and I understand. But if you really assess your situation sometimes, and I would say that to your friend, that is exactly why. Because ain't nobody really trying to be the 7th down the list. Yeah. The 6th down the list. Like, it's gonna feel bad to anybody. Yeah. I don't give a fuck who it is, because people do what they want to do. Right. So if I say I'm stranded and you be like, I'll be there right after I drop off grandma and then pick my brother up because I got to do some Western Union and I got to wait 3, 4, 5 hours for your ass to get to me, right, you gonna have a fucking problem. Right. So that's what it is.
I think we should pretty much say the solution is to be valuable enough to be able to do it without a man. But if you had one, you should certainly know how to keep them. This has been another episode of Relations. My name is Kayna Lassiter. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Kayna Lassiter.
Hey man, holla at your boys 51 Spade on both platforms. Hey, reach out to the Relations page. We appreciate all the love and comments. Leave comments. Watch parties are always at Friday at 8 p.m. Check us out. You're looking for the shirts. It's 51 Kings, AlphaMaleGodCreations.com. Peace.